Hello, my name is Rex Winn. I'm an Iron Speed Designer MVP, and today I'm going to be taking you through a very basic introduction to Iron Speed Designer Enterprise Edition. I will be covering features specific to Iron Speed Designer and especially Enterprise Edition. If you see some things here that are not present in Professional Edition, I would encourage you to go to the website and read up more on the features that are available between the Enterprise and the Professional Edition. This is something that I get asked often about, is to provide someone with a general review of Iron Speed Designer that's a little more in-depth than the 5-minute introduction that's included with the application. So today what I wanted to do was go over the features available within the application and talk briefly about some of them in order to assist you in developing your applications. Now, some of you may have taken the online course that's available where an IronSpeed MVP will take you through a PowerPoint presentation on IronSpeed Designer. That is a 3-hour classroom session that covers the full spectrum of features in IronSpeed Designer. This is going to be something that's similar to what's offered in that PowerPoint presentation, but it's going to follow a more natural progression through IronSpeed Designer, and I'm just going to focus on features that are available that will help you in a broad brush application practice in developing your applications. I'm going to cover the features that I get asked about most, and if you have additional questions or you would like me to cover other topics in subsequent videos, make sure that you email me and let me know. And my email address can be obtained from IronSpeed, or you should be able to contact me via an email link in the user message boards. Let's go ahead and get started by configuring an IronSpeed application, and let's get all of these menu options fully turned on to see just exactly what we can do with IronSpeed Designer Enterprise Edition. I'm going to be using a Microsoft Access database, which isn't going to expose the full features of IronSpeed Designer, and basically what we're talking about is some of the knickknacks that are available with SQL Server and Oracle in the form of stored procedure support, view support, and some of the other more advanced topics that specifically apply to a relational database management system. Let's go ahead and get started by selecting a new application. And I'm going to take us through using the IronSpeed application wizard right off the bat. I think this is an important topic to cover in a little more detail. This view of the wizard simply is meant to show us what we're going to be doing in the application wizard. To begin with, IronSpeed is pre-populating an application name for us, myapp1. It's already using the directory chain that I like to work in, and it's pre-appended our application name to the end for us. This is really slick. I love how IronSpeed does this. I'm going to go ahead and change the application name to something meaningful for me. And you'll notice that as I typed in application name, IronSpeed went ahead and changed the product name in my path. Very cool, very slick. This is just something that's going to help speed up your development and even simplify the process. I like to work in C#. For the purposes of this demonstration, language actually doesn't matter. We can select C# or Visual Basic.NET, and we have the choice of working in the .NET 2 or .NET 3 framework, and then down here we can select 1.1 if that's something we need to do. Here, I'm going to let it select stored procedures as opposed to inline. Since I'm going to be working with a Microsoft Access database, this really doesn't matter, but it's there, and make sure you understand that it's a choice that you can make in this wizard. Now, any of these changes that I'm making, we can come back in and change these at a later time after we've compiled and built and run the application. Maybe we're going to move it from a Microsoft Access database to an SQL Server relational database management system. We can come into the application wizard and configure it appropriately and redeploy our application, and it's going to work. There's just a lot of power and robustness that we can expose through this application wizard, and it's going to speed up our development time, troubleshooting, and just take a lot of the headaches out of what we do. It's defaulting the language to English. As you can see, we have a lot of language support available. Any of these languages we can select and use, and if you're using Professional Edition, you're not going to see this support. Here we can select languages again, and this is The select languages resources for selected languages will be added to your application, and what this means is that users can come in and configure the application to support whatever language base they're from. So if you know that you're going to be supporting Danish, English, French, and German users, make sure you make the appropriate selection and push it over so that it's available in your application. Here, IronSpeed has set a namespace for us, a video demo. It's set a virtual directory name of video demo, and again, this is all just done automatically. You don't even need to think about it. Let's go ahead and say next. And here's where we get into application page types. Enterprise Edition includes more support for more application page types. To be specific, these are themes available within IronSpeed, and Enterprise Edition exposes 27 total themes to the developer for selection and inclusion in their application. At any time, you can come back in here and change your theme and rebuild the application, and your new application will show the latest theme you've selected. I'm going to go ahead and select Eiger and say next. And here's where we get the choice of where our data is. I'm going to let Microsoft Access stay as the selection, but if I was working with SQL Server or Oracle, here, let's just do this. Let me go to SQL Server and show you how IronSpeed will automatically pick up the SQL servers available on the network. And these are all different servers I have set up for a variety of purposes. And we can even refresh that drop down if we don't see a server in there and we need to go maybe turn on a computer. We can hit refresh and it'll reload that drop down with servers it's detected on our network. We can use Windows authentication, or we can use SQL Server specific authentication for the application only. This doesn't determine how users will get to the application data. This strictly applies to how the application is going to get to the data. So I'm going to set this back to Microsoft Access. It's defaulting to the Winn database. I don't have any authentication on the database or workgroup security. Let's just make sure that we can get to that database, and we can. And let's hit next. And IronSpeed allows us to select tables using Control Select. We can select individual tables and push them over. Or we can use a Shift Select scheme where I can select categories, hold down the Shift key, and click User Access, and it will select all the tables in between. I'm going to go ahead and push those across as I want IronSpeed to generate applications for each of these tables. And IronSpeed is just, right now, it's going through our table selection and generating pages for us. We don't have to do any legwork. And right now, at this screen, I have a fully built IronSpeed application ready to roll. I can click Build and Run and immediately start adding new data into my databases or changing current data that might already exist. So I'm going to hit the Finish button. And that concludes our overview of the IronSpeed application wizard. So we've just covered how you would open IronSpeed, start a new application, select the database, configure the programming language, the spoken language, and other attributes that are specific to our application. Now we're already in our application designer. If you did want to go in and make changes, you can go up to the Tools menu and view the application wizard. Now in this demonstration, since we're not talking so much about the specific development experience, but we're talking more about features available within IronSpeed version 2.1, or excuse me, version 4.2.1. Let's talk about one option that I think is important, and it's easy to overlook if you're not aware of it, and that's the application wizard options. This actually configures the application wizard with predefined settings so that when we generate applications, it will use our selections in this page as it generates applications. Now by default, I prefer that IronSpeed generates edit tables over show tables because my users like to be able to go in and edit multiple records at once. The show table view can be useful for you if you only want users to be able to see the data, but you don't want them to be able to change it. You can configure these settings how you like, and if you choose, you can have IronSpeed save them as the default, and it will use them for every new application that you do.